What is up, my beautiful D.D.D fam? It's your boy Brendan, aka Drip, aka GG Galaxy God, back with another banger Galaxy Eyes deck profile. I haven't profiled this deck in a long time, mainly because it hasn't been the proper format for it, and I didn't want to make back-to-back videos. Sometimes I do, but most of the time when I make back-to-back videos on certain deck profiles or stuff, people kind of they feel some type of way about it, so I don't want to make anybody mad. But yeah, this video is going to be kind of lengthy, so if you're just here for the list, this ain't the video for you, even though it is the video for you because this is the best way to play the deck. If you're new around here, please hit the like button, subscribe button. If you're new to the channel, hit the bell notification so you never miss an upload, and become part of the D.D.D fam. Check the description for all the ways to support me. All my links are down below. Discord, everything is down there, so go check it out. Also, if you're new around here, if you don't know, I'm actually mostly known for this deck and making it as best as it can be. And most of the stuff that you probably use or have seen being used probably came from me. So if you're like all things Galaxy Eyes, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and become part of the D.D.D fam. I have my own portion of my Discord that is just dedicated towards Galaxy Eyes. So granted, we play and talk about other decks, but I have a whole dedication, just a whole tab dedicated for this. But yeah, this is going to be a whole review of the deck, what I think about it, what I think we still are missing, and what my reasons were on all the cards, because that's another reason why it took me forever to get this profile out, is because I did serious in-depth like crafting when it come to testing everything. So let's go ahead and start the list. The beginning part is pretty standard for the most part. By the way, I went undefeated with this list at my locals. I went 3-0. It was a small tourney, but also online I got to, I think it's 8 or 9 wins before I finally lost a match. So this deck is disgusting. It's very consistent too, even though sometimes the deck just wants to try to kill you by making you draw your one-ofs. But as I was saying, I got to basically this deck between online and in locals, I got to 11 before I finally lost one. So the deck still has its weaknesses. The deck still loses to the main thing that it loses to, aka Drone Lockbird. But luckily, very fortunately for us, it's kind of floated out of the format. And this deck is actually good, this format. The past like 3 or 4 formats, the deck has not been able to be playable because of either the hand traps or the meta decks that have been running around. Like, yes, Cashier is still the most represented deck, but like, we can deal with it now. We couldn't deal with the original list and the original deck that they had with the Mind Hacker and all that. We couldn't deal with that. We couldn't. But now it's just like a Rise Heart or the Rise Heart Fenrir or whatever. We can deal with that if you play the cards right. So starting out with the list, we got 3 of the best boy. Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. You need to run 3. Long time ago, I say it in every profile, and I will say it in every profile, because if it's something that I don't create or come up with, I like giving credit where credit is due. And my boy 3 Stacks from Team King of Games, he's the one initially got me even on this deck back a long time ago, like 3 or 4 years ago. He said ratios 1 in hand, 1 in deck, and 1 in grave. So that's the ratios, and that's another main reason you run 3. On top of that, this card is basically just a utility card for this deck, which is really nice because like it's not like how it is with Blue Eyes. Unfortunately, Blue Eyes just became a brick, and Konami never made it a utility card. Granted, it's a vanilla, so like even though this has an effect, it's mainly treated as like kind of like a pseudo vanilla, but it still plays a part in the deck, as where like with Blue Eyes or stuff like that, it doesn't play a part of his deck. Even Cyber Dragon plays a utility card in its own deck, even though it's not like the main centerpiece anymore, even though it's the focal point because it's the heart and soul. The 3, if you're running any less than 3 Wizard, I got everybody onto this back in Photon Hypernova. Yeah, 3 Wizard, nothing needs to be said about that. This is your main starter. You lack starters. This entire deck is extenders basically, so you need to try to get as many starters as you can. And for 3 more starters, we have Soldier. This is you get 6 starters. Soldier soldiered. It is what it is. I'm on 2 Brave. This is another starter. We utilize this as a starter now because you run so many photons, because most of the support that we've gotten are photon cards. So this is a pseudo starter too, because our starters, when it comes to this deck, is different than other decks. We need starters in the form of getting bodies on board and to be able to use our extenders to get more pieces to be able to plus. So this is a starter in the form of giving us a body and a search. This is a body and a search, and worst case scenario, this is just a body. So this will get us to the first part, or to be able to get to the rest of our cards, if that makes sense. Then we have 1 Afterglow. You don't need more than that. You really don't. Still playing 2 makes no sense. 1 is more than enough. Like I said, this entire deck is nothing but extenders, and worst case scenario, this is actually the worst extender because it requires a Galaxy Eyes monster instead of Galaxy or Photon. So, and you get instant access to this any freaking time you want to with the combo. Anytime you want this card, you can get it easily. And it's just your OTK button. 1 Summoner, you don't need more than 1. I promise you. You're just going to stay bricked up because this is not a starter. This is not. As much as you want it to be, it's not a starter. It is a mid-combo card / extender with an additional normal summon. That basically is all it is. This is not a starter. Do not run more than 1 of this. As good as it is, this is just like the Afterglow. You can get instant access to this at any time in the combo easily. Even under Droll, most of the time, you can get instant access to this if you get access to Trance or something like that. This is how most of the time I get access to it. If I don't search it off Soldier, I'll use Trance to bring back the Jumper, and then special this from deck, and then XZ into Photon Dragon, detach this, and just add this back off Soul Flare. So it's basically an E-Telly. So you get instant access to this with Wizard, Soldier, or Trance. So you can get instant access to this at any time. You don't need to. One Cleric, because the Zeus combo I created a long time ago. If you know, you know. If you don't, then go check it out. Or if you probably already know, then yeah, I'm the one that made that a long time ago. This is Bay. This card is Bay. You only need 1. It's just like Summoner. You get access to it whenever you want. Nothing really needs to be said. It is what it is. And then back, because a lot of people are wanting it to come back, and I actually found a way to utilize it. We got 1 Knight. Before, this is going to be one of those cards that's like in the rest of the deck where some cards float in and out of the deck based upon format. This one's actually really solid right now. The reason being is, I mean, typically you never want to see this card because it's a worse version of Summoner, and Summoner does more than he does. But this is mainly a going second normal summon, as where Wizard and Summoner are going first normal summons. Granted, most of the time, if you're not playing against a highly negate board, you'll still go normal summon Wizard to get utility, because Wizard will get you a lot further than Knight will. It's just if you need instant access to a rank 8. All right, sorry about that. My phone is just so old, it's really hard to record it on anymore because it just collapses, which is what happens during the live stream if you ever tune into the live stream. So I was talking about, the last card I was talking about, I was almost done with the entire profile, guys, and then I just realized it stopped recording. Very annoying. But yes, Galaxy Knight going second is the reason why he's back in the deck, because he's like your go second normal summon. Gets you an instant access to an 8 if you need it. Other than that, you never really summon him. Sometimes it's still better to summon the Wizard going second, because he sets you up a lot further if you know you're not playing into a bunch of negates, and you have enough gas to push through an Ash Blossom. Then go with the Wizard. It's just mainly the Knight is mainly in there for emergency purposes. Just to get you into an 8, because a rank 8, to be able to try to break their board or just get you to Lord faster. So that's it for that. Photon, we got 3 Orbital, 2 Vanisher, and 1 of each Foolishes. I'm sorry I don't have my CRs yet. I'm a bad kid. I know, I'm sorry. I told you I would have them, but I don't. Apologize. 2 Vanisher. Sometimes I side one out, like 1 second and stuff, so I only have one, so you don't brick on him. But you still need two in the main deck, because he is your best rank 4 extender. He refills your hand, and he gives he gives your XZ ability to banish anything when he destroys it by battle, so it's really nice. Then you only need one of each foolish. I know a lot of people like to run two and two, or 2 and 1, or 2 and 1, whatever. You don't need that. You get instant access to any of these at any time you want. I don't give a crap about Bistules. I really don't. Yeah, they're a problem, but you can just play around them or play through them. Because once you get access to these, you don't want to draw one for turn. You really don't. And these are not starters. Once you get access to these in the graveyard or field, you just keep recycling them. If you want to ship them back to the deck, then you just use Cleric to ship them back to the deck. And when you get Jumper in graveyard, you never really want to send him back to the deck. The main thing you want to do is just keep floating him from graveyard with Summoner and maybe Soul Flare to send off a soldier. So, but yeah. You don't need more than one of these. These are not starters. Jumper's first effect is Dog Water. It's terrible. It only ever want to come up in an emergency situation. But if it comes up in an emergency situation, then you just lost anyways. Lost that regard. But yeah, once you get access, like I said, once you get access to these, you don't need more copies. You really don't. For a record, I know a lot of people are going to ask me, because I always get the question. I don't like Galaxy Karibo. Competitive standpoint, I don't like it. Is it a cool card? Is it solid? Yeah, it's got its perks, but it's not me, and it's not for competitive and playing against meta or tier 1.5 decks. It's not it doesn't do enough, and it just takes up room. Non-engine, Ash, Droll, Jizukiru, Talent. If you've seen my discussion videos from like a year or two ago or whatever, where I would talk about the deck only allowing itself to consistency with the consistency cards we have now, we're only allowed to have 8 non-engine. That's non-Galaxy Eyes or Photon. This is it. This is what I opted to run for this format. Ash Blossom is just really freaking generic, so you have to always stay strapped and ready for brain dead fusion. Droll, I made 2 Droll instead of 3 because I didn't want to clog on non-lights, because this deck does clog if you don't have lights. It's the story that I've been preaching to you guys for years. But I decided to go Droll instead of any other hand trap, because I didn't want a bunch of decks going over my head. What I mean by that is decks that just blow me out, that my hand traps only trade 1 for 1 because their decks just run off diesel and gas and they just go. Like Danger Dark World or Super Heavy or anything like that. I want to keep them low to the ground, like Heroes or some stupid Copium deck like that. I want to keep them low to the ground and keep the game manageable in my favor. So that's what this is in there for. Talent has just been really freaking busted for me. Ever since I added it in. And I know what some people are probably asking right now. You don't have to worry about it. I'm about to answer your question right now. The other card that I made like very valuable in this deck, which was Thrust. Alright guys, I'm going to try to speed run this because I don't know what's going on. I can't get my phone to actually cooperate with me and not stop recording. There's no reason for it to do that. But the other card I made valuable was Thrust. I don't run Thrust because I want to see talents more, and I want to play less into Droll. That's the only reason I'm not main decking Thrust. I still play Thrust, I just side it, and I don't want to play harder into Droll than I already do, because there's nothing more annoying than using Thrust to search talents to draw to, and then just getting drolled upon adding talent, and then you can't utilize talent and you're forced to rip one out of hand when you really need the draw or whatever. So that's the reason why I'm not main decking it. But if you want to main deck it, the only wiggle room is the second talent. That's the only one I would take out for it, and you run 1 and 1. But that's it for that. If I'm going to have to keep checking on this video to make sure it doesn't stop recording anymore. The next card, moving on. This card is not a starter anymore. I'm sorry, it's just not. So I had to move it down to 2, and because with the new support we got and all the consistency cards we got now, it's not a starter. It's not as mandatory as it used to be. It's mainly a follow-up card now. and that is Sanctuary. You do not need 3 of this card anymore. The only time this ever was or ever will be a starter is if you have Orbital in hand. Other than that, it will never be a starter. Unless for some odd reason you don't have any way to put a name on board, that's the only time this is a starter. This is mainly a follow-up card or a rebuild card. You can, just like every other card, you can get instant access to it at any time. Ever since dropping it down to 2, I haven't regretted it, except for my round 2 matchup where I fucking drew both of them. I was raging because it was very cloggy, and it was very frustrating because round 1, round 2, game 1, I drew both, and then game 2 of round 2, I sided one out, and I still drew the fucking one of. I was heated because I don't want to see this card. I really don't. I don't. But this will be the new norm. If you fight against it and still try to run 3, you'll just find yourself bricking. I'm sorry. It's just the cold, harsh truth. If you get mad and want the deck to be better, there's no reason you should live in the past and keep trying to play things that we used to play a long time ago. It's just the truth. I'm not trying to be mean or anything like that. It's just you got to embrace change to be able to let the deck give its room to grow. For the rest, engine-wise, we got 1 Galaxy 100, 1 Expedition, 1 Trance. That's the last 3 of the engine. I know I've made this solid a long time ago. This card will bounce between 1 and 2. It's just there's no room for the second one. Kind of can get bricky from time to time, so you only have room for 1. Because the only time this is good if you see Wizard or whatchamacallit, Soldier. Sorry, I'm just getting frustrated because my phone. But yes, 1 Expedition is all you need. This card plays more of a role now than almost anything, because before this was just an OTK card. This is now a combo piece. This card is disgusting. You most likely will always resolve this turn 1, because this is what helps you. You go +2, almost +3 almost with just this card alone. Because this helps you get to your final stage of your end board, which is the new end board, what I've referenced earlier in the video. Photon Dragon, Star Liege, 100, Solar Flare, and number 90. And then 100, you only need 1. You don't need more than 1. Once you get it live, you never want to see another copy. To be able to play decks at the best of their ability, this goes for any deck. You have to simplify what the deck does. Just because it's a good card, you have to think, do you want to see it mid to late game? If you already established one, do you want to see it mid to late game? Will it help you break boards? No, it won't. Once it's established, it's good. Also, this deck has a bunch of recyclability in the form of Cleric. So, no. You can't overthink stuff. You can't when it comes to deck building. But that's it for the engine. Now the generics. We got consistency, 2 Small World, not 3 because you'll brick on it. Exact same concept, 2, not 3 because you'll brick on it. And then the last one is basically 1 card combo, Foolish Burial. This card is a 1 to 1.5 card combo. All you do is use this. You send Jumper. Jumper will get you Trance. Trance will get you Jumper plus the whatever 4 you're missing. If you're missing Wizard, you go get Wizard. If you're missing Summoner and Summoner will be a better option, you go get Summoner off of the second summon off of Trance. Then you make Photon Dragon, the XZ. Detach the one that you need in the form of Summoner or Wizard, either or. And then you go dump Emperor. Emperor will summon. And then you play what else off of there. And then if you have another extender, which is the 0.5 part of the 1.5 card combo, you summon it. Then you make Soul Flare using the Photon Dragon XZ and the extender to get the normal summon that you summoned off of Trance. And then there you go. You're gassed out. Foolish Burial is really disgusting in this deck. Now that we have actual good Foolish cards, like in the form of Jumper and Emperor, this card is really busted. Yes, it's a pseudo second copy of Galaxy 100, but you know what? If you draw both, you can still activate both instead of seeing 200 and one being dead. Foolish is really gross. Foolish single-handedly won me a game. In I think it was round 3 last night in the finals at locals, because I baited out all the negates and hand traps, and I just held this in hand. And then this was like I had one card left, which was one extender, aka 1.5 card combo. I just activated this and did the exact same combo that I just told you. I sent jumper and just went off and made full board, because this and another card will get you full board almost, if not full board. That's it for the main deck. Clean 40. Always want to try to keep it at 40. Never really want to go over it. Extra deck is going to be very standard. The extra deck, there's no wiggle room really. There's not, and it hasn't been for a long time. 2 Soul Flare. You only need 2. Don't need 3. If you're playing the deck right, you'll just recycle it with Cleric. Bujinki, Ashima. If you're not running this card, I'm sorry, you're just not playing the deck right, because this card single-handedly plays around Nib. It plays through Nib. Doesn't care about Nib. On top of that, the worst matchups that this deck has is back row. This deck struggles against back row decks. Definitely the ones that can recycle themselves and just keep playing like Eldritch or Labyrinth. This card helps you with that, because you make an XZ under the arrow, and whenever that XZ activates its effects, you can pop a back row. So if you make 90, you can, when you add on their turn, you can pop a back row with this card because it activates effects. So this is a kind of like a Soul Flare, but also helps you play through and be able to try to break back row boards. That's it for the links. Don't need any other ones. To the unnecessary expensive card. If you don't own this card and you want to play Galaxy Eyes, just don't play Galaxy Eyes until this gets reprinted, unless you have the money and are okay with spending the money on it. But I really think this is going to be in an OTS pack, or will be a quarter century rare somewhere down the line. That's just my hypothesis. Then the Cypher package. Cypher X. These two are really gross. I think literally last night, I'm not even kidding, last night I summoned every single card to my extra deck at least once. These two are really gross at helping you break boards. Definitely if you Dark Ruler them, can't really OTK them, so you're going to break their board by popping and stealing. And this stealing and making a Cypher, and this being the only one in your entire extra deck that can pop on top of something. And yeah, what's really nice, stealing an XZ with this and then using his effect, because a lot of people forget he has a secondary effect that you can detach 2 materials from him, and for the 2 turns, I believe, your light monsters can't be targeted. So automatic protection from targeting is really nice, because even if they out your Star Leash, you still can't target your stuff because of this guy. So yeah, for the other Cypher package obviously is Blade, and then not a Cypher, but it's the pop cards. Blade and Full Armor, my favorite one in the entire extra deck, because I just love the blue and black artwork. Now for the Power 1-ofs. One Mr. OTK himself. This card is just, he's the boy. He's the whole focal point of the extra deck besides number 90. And then his leveled up version. This card's really freaking disgusting. Being able to clear boards, definitely under if you make this plus your Cypher Dragon, you can pretty much break a whole board under Dark Ruler, because you just tack everything into this and then steal everything else with Cypher. Hope Harbinger. This is the only flex spot in the entire deck, but I wanted a spell negate with a bunch of like decks going around with spells like Branded and stuff like that. So and steal and stuff like that. It's just really nice. Before the profile I actually made the day before the ban list came out, this was actually Exaton night, but the entire deck was completely different. But the wiggle room is like, this is the only wiggle room spot, but I think you really think you should run this instead of anything else. Then for the 4s, Galaxy Photon Dragon, Star Liege, and then I dropped the last card. Hold on a second. Zeus, if you didn't already know. Zeus is really nasty. Definitely when you do the Zeus combo that I made, where you just loop Zeus and Cleric, it's just infinite resources. That's it for the main and extra. Clean 15, obviously. Side deck, since this is a tournament deck, I'll show you side deck. There's a couple things that I will change in the side deck. I think this is, for this format that we're currently in, this is the most generic side deck, I believe. 3 Tachyon. 2 Bell. 3 Dark Ruler, 2 Cosmic for Runic, and everything else. 2 Lightning Storm. I think Lightning Storm's very sleeper right now because there's a lot of decks running Links. And back row decks are making a comeback in the form of Labyrinth or Dinomorphia. 1 Hyper Galaxy, 1 Duster, 1 Thrust. The only thing I think I would change in this entire side deck, because everything put in work, Bells saved my life last night. Hyper Galaxy put in work. I used every single one of these cards last night, I think, besides Duster, because I never saw it. I will take out 1 Transmigration and 1 Storm, and then put in 2 Gozen Match. Gozen Match puts in work this format because Vanquish Souls is just going to get better. Because trust me, I put a lot of depth testing it with that deck too, because that's the deck that I want to play, like my meta deck that I want to play. So Gozen just takes a dookie on it, and it also takes a dookie on Kashtira. So like for an example, if they summon Unicorn first, which most Kashtira players will, then you just activate Gozen, you just win. Because as long as they don't have access to Fenrir, they can't. It's hard for them to out the Gozen unless they just go Dark Arm Dragon of Annihilation, and then what can you do? But at that point, if you have a Gozen backed up with your 90 and your full board, then you just win. But yes, this is the side deck that I would do: 2 Tachyon, 2 Bell, 3 Ruler, 2 Cosmic, 1 Dust, 1 Storm, 1 Hyper Galaxy, 1 Duster, 1 Tactics, and 2 Gozen. If you can't afford Tactics, I would try to find a way to trade for one from your locals or something like that and get it. But if you have absolutely no way of doing it, then I would probably keep the second Storm, Lightning Storm in there, just because it's it's generic back row, and like I said, back row kills this deck, and you always want to stay strapped and ready for back row decks. But other than that, I think everything is pretty mandatory and standard in that regard. I just don't own Gozen matches, so that's why I opted to run this. But the Bells and everything is mandatory. Bell is such a good hand trap this format. Other than that, I think that's it for the video. I don't know what this video is at, but if you guys want to see a combo video, just get this video to like 30 likes. I know it's very easy to do because you all blow up my Galaxy Eyes stuff, and I love it so much. I love seeing it and all the positive feedback. So if you want to see a combo video, just get this to 30 likes. I know that's manageable, and I'll do a combo video. Yeah. I'll talk to you more, guys, about that there, because I don't know when this video is going to cut out. But that's it. I went undefeated with this deck. I really think the deck is in a very solid format of solid spot right now, and I think it can actually compete against everything. It actually seems like the skies are opening up for us to be able to play, because Droll's not really around. Macrocosmos is not as relevant as before. If it is, it's easier to out. And yeah, so no graveyard manipulation in the form of Shizu, stuff like that. So I really think Galaxy is in a solid place, and I think you guys should give this list a try. You will not regret it. I tell you, I put so much work into this list, and I know you'll enjoy it. But with that being said, I love you guys so much, and it's been nice talking to you guys and bringing this profile for you. Please check out the links for all the ways to support me, and hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Definitely, if you want to see the combo video and more discussion, because when I do make videos, definitely with Galaxy Eyes, it's not just combo, it's not just profile, it's discussion. I'm explaining everything to you and the reasoning behind it. So hit that like button, and then bell notifications so you never miss an upload, and look out for more upcoming content in the future. I love you guys so much. It's your boy Brennan, aka Drip, signing out till next time, aka Galaxy God, signing out next time. I love you. Peace. Good dueling, my guys.